Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali, wishing you the very best that is in your nature to accomplish. That said, there's some stuff going on that's just like over the top, ridiculous. And it's incredible how it all gets back to one issue that they never discuss. But to start out with, let me humbly entreat you to watch the entire show all the way through because it's just not possible for me to, make it short because the subject matter I'm delving into is not examined by anybody else in the Black world. There are a few white anti-nukers out there, and salute to them because I wouldn't have known about what has become my life's advocacy without them giving more data on the hell of man-made radiation. Um, but I'm the only one who is just putting everything together so that it projects outward to the actual, not only the impact of radiation, but what these devils are doing in order to hide it. So it's a scathing, just declaration that they mean absolutely nobody on earth any good. And so that gets me to Alexis Farrell and the birth of a Haitian stereotype, the birth of a brand new way of swearing that the Haitians are the most depraved beings on the planet. I live in a beautiful community filled with Haitian neighbors, and I've never seen a hide nor hair of this seemingly, cultural tendency that they're supposed to have of hunting ducks. Even the ducks, that one was real, with the guy walking around with the two ducks. But this whole preposition that Haitians are so uncouth, so uncivilized that they wouldn't understand that that is not something you do. Don't go up to a public park and just start hunting the animals there. Um, and then I've never seen a single one of them eat a pet, eat a cat. We have a lot of cats in the neighborhood that we actually feed to keep the mouse population down. And we'll see the same cats on the regular. No one's eaten them yet. So this is right here, Alexis Farrell, who the Daily Mail is just so goodness, I almost feel like saying I love them, but I don't. Where they will just showcase exactly the narrative that the devil is trying to get out there. And that's why I reference them a lot, because I can tell, oh, okay, this is what you have planned. So they released this article about Alexis, but they had also spoken on the whole Trump cat thing, where people were posting memes all over the daggone place with Trump. He's gonna protect their cats and pets. And he actually stated in, I don't know if it was an interview or whatever, that people were out there, Haitians were out there eating people's pets. And this was something that needed to be stopped. His running mate, J.D. Vance, was the one who initially claimed that this was to be the case. And it's all been blown up as not at all, not in the least sense. I know that there are backdoor orchestrations going on to get either Trump or Kamala elected, but either one, it doesn't matter. They're all still beholding to the satanic elites up top. And everyone I assess has been giving marching orders, patent, and you can see with Daily Mail with the bunny rabbit thing during Christmas. They were these little public realm reminders, like the giant statue in New Jersey with an old man's hand hushing a young girl that was looking out at Manhattan, there's all these little reminders that, yo, dudes, we gotta step up because the chaos is coming from on top right now. It's not coming from the regular people down in the streets and, just regular living in their homes, trying to go to work types of folks who we're pretty satisfied. We don't need to start any civil wars. But these folks will produce whole movies swearing that this is coming, and I'll see their definite operatives who have, they're called underground media, but at the same time, they'll still be peddling the operative line, the party line in what they're touting. And so you'll have folks like, I don't know, I'm just saying, Mike Adams, who like years back was said there's bound to be a civil war. No, that's what the satanic elites want, because they need to hide the devastation of man-made radiation. That's what all of it winds up being revolving around. And the fact that nobody is speaking about it, let alone analyzing it, says that there's a whole lot of operatives out here, more than the common person. And there's good common people of every race, but they truly don't trust their own ability to analyze what's right in front of their faces. They don't understand radiation, so that it's easier for them to dismiss what's happening across the planet as just some sort of weird coinky dinky. And so with Alexis here, shocking body cam footage shows woman with fur on her lips was arrested for eating cat in Ohio. They initially showcased this as if she was in that town, Springfield, where they have all these Haitian refugees coming in. And she's not from Springfield. She's from Canton, and she's not a Haitian. She's an American. And when they asked her, well, why did you do this? She said, I don't know, right? There are Manchurian candidate. I'm not saying whether she is or she isn't. I'm just making an analysis because the science of man-made radiation is real. They cannot put that genie back in the bottle, all right? And so there are Manchurian candidate operatives out there who, based on a word, based on just, any kind of scenario, they're sleeper cells, and they've been set out there in order to just go along with whatever storyline the satanic elites want touted out there, because they desperately, desperately need massive distraction. So initially, the immigrant sweep, where there was just like lunacy that, they're taking over apartments. They're saying, come on up, my fellow immigrant brothers and sisters. And, you could just squat inside a house, but it was all Hispanic people. I disagree with that term, but I'm using it just because it's the recognized one. But there were also just, others who were non-Black. But that's the point, is that all of this is about stymieing Black us from waking up and taking our rightful stewardship over this planet. The Most High said, ask for it back and he will give it to us. And so they needed to change that dynamic so that it's all Black, just like with Wokery. I'm pretty sure if Kamala does get elected, and I wouldn't, hesitate for a moment to think that they would steal the election, because she supports, massive wokery. There's no hesitation on her part to do whatever they tell her to do, including wearing some reportedly earrings that were just, not a teleprompter, but they were little listening devices, hearing devices, so she would be given the correct things to say at that debate. Like I say, I don't support Trump either. They both work for the same folks. But one of them is going to peddle this nonsense. Trump would peddle it too, and he just might because of all these assassination attempts. And I don't know if they're assassinations that he's just orchestrating so he could gain sympathy and become like the hero type, or if they are actual whatever. It's all being orchestrated by people who are such friggin' micromanaging maniacs, weirdos, creeptoids, that I'm out of it with all of this. When you see them and they also, like, I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, when you see them and they got the mustache, this is just strictly Baphomet, where they're trying to act like a woman, but they're not acting like a woman. That is strictly Baphomet. These people, you can't trust them. If they tell you up is up, yeah, okay, maybe it is, but you best look all directions, okay? Because then that means there's a snake coming at your foot. I'm just saying. So they'll wrap us up in the wokery, especially Kamala, who's not black, is still black-like. And so she was at some other Black Caucus dinner where she was like, oh, to all my divine nine, Soros, just, straight up ruled by the boule, servants to the king. And in the comments, all these white people are just like, for dinner, Kamala enjoyed roasted goose, braised duck, and a side of chitlins. Wow, really, dude? For white people, in order for a stereotype to be successful, they have to hide legitimate black voices, such as mine, and such as, oh, brother Segun Ogum Benny, I do believe is his name. They found a new way of shadow banning comments where I don't even know that you're commenting. I would always go to my management comments page, and then I would see everything that even you going to the share would not see unless you were to hit the newest comments. And then you might see all the comments. They'll change it whenever they want to, because what it is that social media is actually the same as utilities services like electricity and gas, where it should be regulated by a common purpose for the benefit of the society. However, it's not. It's operated as if it's a private business, but it's a place where social concepts are formed and they're being controlled by those who own media and social media to the detriment of Black us, so that our definition of who we are is being controlled by the devil himself. And so they're putting all that is like firmly racist. It's still right here. This, I just opened this page up, and this is an article from today, right? My comments, if I mention radiation, have fun on Daily Mail, mention radiation lots of times and see how your comment is swiftly removed. But this with the side of chitlins, which is the main comment, it's got 423 likes. And so folks are like, how can anyone forget the steaming bowl of poodles and noodles? This is the birth of a stereotype, and this is how these people manage to conduct genocide with a smile on all their faces, even though the genocide's taking them out too. Because radiation don't stay in one place. Even if our bodies become riddled with it, and the Haitians eating that free donated rice from Japan, cheapest friggin' nation on the planet, just about, but they're giving away metric tons of rice to Black nations, right? You wind up just feeling as if, oh yeah, no, these Black people, it's okay to kill them. Right? No matter how you have to go about setting that stereotype up that all these Haitians out here, they're eating cats and dogs, even after it's been proven. There was a meeting where different Haitian immigrants, residents, just said, ain't nobody in no daggone cats and dogs. But you got white people are on like a hair trigger. They're looking for the easiest object to hate. I'm not saying all of them are doing this, but they don't need the facts in order to just run with a stereotype. As I said with the Kamala quotes, where they're just like, whatever, we'll say whatever. All right. And so you got them just, the articles going over how these people are being threatened with bombs. And you got right now the Proud Boys descending on Springfield. Now, when I see the Proud Boys show up, I know in my conclusion, the fix is in somewhere. Somebody is paying because these folks have jobs. They have mortgages and rents to pay, car notes, and to just all of a sudden show up in mass in a little town in Ohio. That costs. It costs money, costs gas, whatever the heck. And so when a particular organization shows up all at once and they want to keep spiraling on about the migrants eating pets, and the woman who said, oh, well, I just, said something, I didn't know people would take it so seriously. No, you did. Because they need chaos. They need as much lunacy happening, so we do not pay any attention. There they go again. Swing state voters' response to Trump's pet eating claims. We don't pay attention to what's really happening. And I just wanted, it's like members of the armed neo-Nazi group Blood Tribe, pictured in Florida, held a march in the town last month and helped spread the pet eating rumors online. What? That's what these guys do. I mean, really? All the way in Florida, you gotta do this protest against the lying story about Haitian immigrants eating cats and dogs, and you didn't say a word about the other immigrants supposedly taking over whole apartment blocks, forcing people out of their homes. And that was at the outset, but you didn't see all this hoopla then. That's because it's the bait and switch. It's all about pivoting their anger on Black us. Whereas there's epic weather going on. As much as they want to push the whole narrative of climate change, but they want to blame it on what's not causing it, which is carbon. Black, okay, just in case you like carbon, yeah, that's black. There's epic weather chaos going on out there that they don't. I mean, last year, the year before that, they would highlight the weather chaos. But they don't want to do that anymore because that makes people ask questions. And so this is flooding going on in Vienna and Slovakia and the Eastern European nations, and it's gigantic. But this was like way down. You couldn't even find this story unless you went to the UK paper of the Daily Mail. Right? It's like, wow, okay. But God forbid they even, if they ever mention what the hell is going on in China, that would be incredible. It's apocalypse happening in China, so many levels, I can't even mention it. But they had a whole gigantic, the biggest typhoon ever in recorded history. Typhoon Yagi, this sucker has been tearing down whole villages where pretty much when you look at the damage, you know that the figures of those who died is probably in the thousands. And simply the CCP, they don't mind lying. They'll lie whenever they get a chance. And so this is going on, and now there's another typhoon called Babinka, fiercest typhoon in 70 years. I mean, the damage is absolutely incredible. Not a freaking word about it. Not a word. But you got these Haitians who they're just going to run with the stereotype because that's what white folks will do. They love hating Black us. And I'm just like, I don't need their approval. I don't need to explain anything to them. I'm just letting you know what's causing this is in our food. And it's causing this. I can't, show you. That's a cow. That's a cow. His head is all conjoined. When it comes to India, I conclude firmly they have been experimenting with radiation in both India and in Africa. There was the channel I went to, Afrimax, but they've since changed. They went in with more of, not Afrimax, but I do believe the Chinese may have gone in and gotten rid of any information whatsoever about more truthful matters. Like Afrimax wasn't highlighting the radiation, but they were highlighting the those who were born with massive birth defects. And I spoke on it just briefly, even though I'm supposedly a real small channel. I don't think that my channel is small at all. I think there's an awful lot of folks who try to plan their next strategy, who watch what I say and the shares that I put out there. And so they come up with things like this, whereas kitten born with two faces is perfect. Are you crazy? This is what they do, is they try to normalize the effects of man-made radiation. That's the key. If you read as much as I've read about what these people do, you will have no doubt that I am not kidding you in the least, right? And so we'll see more of stuff like this. It's crazy, and it's going to get crazier. In the meantime, we're still eating what causes the mutations, causes heart attacks, causes thyroid issues, causes 3,000 separate autoimmune conditions that they only concentrate on the cancerous effects of radiation. They only talk about one or two. But you can see the evidence with the epic rise of even colon cancer, because everybody wants to blame the jabberoonie dooney for that. But that wasn't stuck in our intestines. And I know I ain't never get one, okay? It didn't go into people's intestines. That's what they're eating. And so they've been coming out on Daily Mail with all of these different excuses for the colon. Scientists now have the reason why there's an epic level of colon cancer, and they'll say it's the additives. But these colon cancer upticks are happening in the regions where nuclear power is. They're not happening in the places where people are still eating these processed foods, and even worse, okay? But at the same time, they're not suffering from these colon cancers. So I've already, and I have those videos archived, have tracked the trajectory of Fukushima fallout in the rise of diseases amongst us humans. But then I've also tracked the rise of death just coming from out of the Pacific Ocean. So assist me in my work by coming on over to 25,000yearscycle.org and get your own healing on. I'm not here to fearmonger you. I'm not here to normalize what's happening. I'm here to let you know it's happening for a very addressable reason. As long as we don't wait till forever to address it. And so when you assist me, I'm sort of like a collecting haven for the information, because the cow came from Brother You Mute Me 2.0, And other people will give me this information so that I can just put it all together and keep the analysis to protect us as much as possible. And so, brother Dr. Z is a doctor with the Arna Nation, and that is healing for Black you and me, where it studies in great depth how to facilitate our melanin, not going according to Western science's tests where they're only testing white people, right? And they're testing them according to their sickness model, which means that they don't have any well people that they deal with. When I went to the hospital over my toe and the woman was shocked that my pulse was 30, that's because they don't get healthy people in the hospital. And it was only because I broke my toe that I went there. Right? They get only sick people, people who are dealing with massive diabetes, and then they just approach it from, well, how do we get rid of these symptoms? They don't approach it from, how do we take care of you so you could reach a state of optimum health? They would go broke, in their estimation, if they were to encourage optimum health in their patients. When I look and I'm just like, what do you mean you go broke? You'll still be able to make a very adequate living. You just won't be able to afford the Lamborghini, Doc. Sorry, right? Well, we are Aboriginal minded people. And so that we're not about the stuff. We're not about just getting a McMansion. I can't stand McMansions. I know my greatest mansion is you and your family and all of us working together. Okay? So you come on over here and you are going to get your healing done. All right? You got our services, you got consultations that you could do. Let's chat with the Dr. She. And oh, and he keeps on going. I didn't know that he had all this extra stuff. Oh, this brother just keeps on going. Oh, you can come all the way up to the top and avail yourself of the products that I've put together. I'm mostly doing research, so Dr. She, he dedicates himself to overall massive healing. But here you can get my products, my books. I'm writing my new book, and that's why I'm not up here like I used to be. But in the meantime, you're going to get your heal on, because I wrote Furnace of Affliction, Healing Radiation Damage to the Human Body. This is the ebook, but you could also get the printed version. And this is just filled with all the cures necessary to make sure that if you ever have to go to a doctor because you got some physical ailment and it's not an actual illness, you're going to find out they're going, how come you so healthy? Right? Because you can be. That's what it's about. While these people are trying to keep it about nonsense items, news items that are not worthy of the front pages, when there's so much critical transformations happening to our world in every single regard, right? So yeah, that's all I want to say. Straight Black pride is our map to forever when in submission to the Most High's commands. Love you, peace, and blessings.